Alrighty, so this is part 2 of the tug of war between your higher and lower selves. Maybe if you didn't resonate with the first one, you might with this one. So let's see what's going on between your two selves and how's that manifesting in the 3D. Let's start with your lower self. Who is your lower self being represented as? The owl. Okay. And who is your higher self being represented as? Saw that. The firefly. Both air energies. And we'll prop these up. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, and where does your lower self dwell? Whoa, I'll take this one. The heart. We also, but the underworld also popped up. Okay. And where does your higher self, the firefly, dwell? The womb. Okay. Alrighty. And the underworld on the bottom of the deck again. Okay. What tool is the owl using? There in the heart. I love that. The riddle. Okay. And what tool is the firefly using? The thread. Okay. Got the mask. So, the mask in the underworld, that represents like your 3D self and what it's experiencing, what tool it's using. Okay. Now your lower self is being very guarded, very vigilant, very overprotective, of his or her heart. Your lower self lives in the heart space, which is quite a tangled, messy place right now. There are a lot of riddles to solve. It's doing its best to understand its own emotions, the things that it loves and why, the things that trigger it, that make it feel hatred and why. There is such a confusion that your lower self is like living in right now. And that's what has made it behave in such a kind of guarded way. Your lower self is doing its best to protect you, and it's manifesting in building walls all around and being maybe even experiencing paranoia as people come into your life. The owl's main question is why. As people tell you they love you and they care, your owl's main reaction is, what's your ulterior motive? State your business. But it has a lot of wisdom because it's learned from experiences, but it's relying way too much on that wisdom and less on the emotions. That's why it's working very hard on sorting through the matters of the heart at this time. Your higher self, the firefly, as you can see, is watching it, and they're facing each other, both up in the air. They have a strong awareness of each other. They're not so disconnected. But the firefly is a much lighter, brighter, kind of like a breeze of an energy. Your higher self is here and there doing its part to inspire your lower self, sparking love, passion, joy, creativity, ideas, things for it to chase, so that it can get this owl to leave this nest of the heart and follow the firefly wherever it will take it. But the firefly is not overbearing. It's reminding the owl that there is a whole world out here, and people who you have yet to meet that already love you in spirit. You're coming into union with them little by little, and you can feel it coming toward you in some way, and that's why it's making you clam up. Feels like a riddle, because your lower self kind of feels like either it doesn't deserve it, or even if it does, then those people are not going to give it what it deserves, because based on the past, those were the experiences that it had that shaped it to be so guarded, vigilant, overprotective. But the firefly, your higher self, is creating sparks of like excitement for it to follow here and there. But it's not doing it too much. It comes in like a flicker and does it and then leaves, because it doesn't want to trigger or overburden the owl at this time. And the firefly dwells in the womb. So your higher self is in kind of a period of almost like incubation, as in you are not entirely in union with your higher self right now. It is something that is still being born, or being born in your awareness. It's something that you're working on very much. But the heart and the womb are both very strong, feminine, fertile, nurturing, nourishing energies. So they're helping you very much right now as you feel that you are in the underworld. You're going through hell. There's so much, all of these kind of like weeds and worms to have to get through and get past. And your higher self is using the thread, which means it's connecting very much. There is a thread that runs through all three parts of you, your lower self, your 3D self, and then your higher self. There is a thread that connects you guys, and your higher self is maintaining that thread and sending waves of encouragement so that your 3D and your lowest self can feel it. Your higher self is also channeling Source, the greatest of sources, the Great Spirit, or God, whatever it is you believe is that supreme reigning source. Your higher self is a little bit of a messenger between that great source and you right now. So the owl is saying, this is a very important thing I need to get done. Stop trying to get me to leave. I have work to do here in the heart space, here in the home, here in myself. Until it's done and sorted through and I feel safe and whole again, I won't be leaving this home. I'm not ready to sail anywhere except in the worlds within. There's a lot I need to discover. There's a lot I need to heal. I see you and I see your light and thank you, but not today. I have a riddle to solve, okay? Somebody's got to protect me, okay? So that's going to be me. And the firefly, your higher self, is saying, you're so much stronger than you know. You are an owl, for crying out loud. You are of the wisest spirits anyone's ever known. So what you say goes. I understand. But at the same time, don't forget about joy, laughter, excitement. Your heart is not going to grow. You're not going to get your answers by living in there. Follow my light. Come follow me. I'll take you to your tribe. I'll take you to a new place. I'll spark your creative ideas. That'll allow you to answer the riddle. You can do both. You can walk your journey and your path and create moving forward. As you heal your heart and protect it, you can have both. And the owl is like, this is not a time for play. This is a time for work. This isn't a time to rest and have fun. This is a time to sit down and understand. So I appreciate all of your light and thank you, but I've got a riddle to solve. That's what my sights are set on. I'm not about to go frolicking in the fields with you. Not right now. And the firefly is like, okay, well, I'll be here when you're ready. And until you're ready, I'm going to do my part to keep inspiring you. Because the more you lean into the playfulness of life, the more, as I said, it allows you to heal, but everything on your own time, I understand. When you are ready to follow me is the moment I will finally be born. I'm a little bit restless, though I understand, but yeah, I'm a little bit restless because I can't come into this world, into this life, and channel through you until you accept me and let me be born through you. and then they reach a stalemate. That's why they're both facing one another, a little bit frozen in time in this dialogue. So your higher self keeps throwing this thread and waiting for your lower self to catch it so that they can trail off together to the future. And it will never stop doing that. It will never grow tired or sick of it or become defeated, because that's your higher self. It doesn't feel those ways. It doesn't even process that kind of emotion or frustration the way we do here in the 3D and the way our lowest selves do. So your firefly is constantly, that thread is always there whenever you're ready. So I'll be here. And the owl is like reassured by that. And that's why it doesn't feel so agitated about or like overly anticipating moving forward and fearing that life is going to pass it by. The lower self owl doesn't feel that way, because it is wise enough to know that whenever it's ready, that thread will still be there. So they have a strong union with each other right now. But this is what their dialogue looks like. So let's see a little bit deeper into this if we can. What does the owl want to say about living in the heart, about the riddle? What is it that the owl's experiencing? Okay, we've got the Ace of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, the Magician. Oh. And then the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So it seems a lot like you have grown so used to the habit of starting something new, manifesting a new plan, a new idea, a new love, a new friend, a new job, it's what you do, it's how you have always lived, manifesting new things. But there have been so many disappointments along the way that your capacity to believe in a new beginning and go after your own manifestations as they materialize in front of you as opportunities is something that you have grown mistrustful of. You don't trust it anymore. The owl is so wise, but it doesn't feel that way right now at this time, because it feels like it miscalculated so many things and that it went after so many opportunities that it itself created that didn't pan out in the way that it saw in its mind's eye that it would. So it feels overly guarded and quite defeated and in a place of mistrust and paranoia of reality outside itself and of its own capacity to create the right thing that is a right fit for it. The World. The owl feels like it's aged very much. It's been through like 100,000 cycles, completed them, started new, completed them. It's sick of it. It feels that it always attracts like the most unreliable people. And it doesn't know why, because it itself is one of the most reliable people. It feels like the whole world and reality itself is against it. And so the owl is like, so be it. If that's how it's going to be, and I'm the only one who can trust myself, then I'm just going to go inward and figure this shit out on my own. And the world around me is going to have to take a pause, because I'm not participating right now. It has ended so many cycles and accomplished so much, but it doesn't feel that way to the owl. The owl says, I'm so tired of having to move on. I'm so tired of being the one who has to move on and move forward and learn the lessons for other people. That the firefly says, it is almost like a curse that you do excel and ascend so much more rapidly than the people around you that you've met, because it seems like they just get to hang out and play and fuck around without any repercussions, whereas you always have to be the one to learn and grow and handle the responsibility and be the one to move on and move forward. So yeah, it does feel like such a curse, and I understand. But, you know, as Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. It's the case with you. Your capacity to ascend and rise above so much more effectively than the people around you is a blessing. This is your gift to the world, and you are a gifted individual. You are not meant to stay in the same place and just have fun like everyone else at this time as you're growing, because you were given wings for a reason. You were born to fly and to lead people to greatness. So until you reach your own pinnacle in this life, it is going to feel really difficult for you to be the one who's always changing and growing without the people around you doing the same or even recognizing that about you. But once you get to that pinnacle, your life after that point will be so much more incredible than you ever imagined. And you'll realize that when that happens, all of those people of the past are going to have to start their journey sometime, right? And you're going to watch them struggle through just to get by the way you had to. It's just, there's like a lag for them, because they just don't grow as fast as you. And they were not meant to achieve the greatness that you were, because their heart is not as big as yours, and so the greatness they achieve would not be so shared with the world, whereas yours would. That's why you are important. That's why a lot of work's being done on you, and you're having to move through a lot of what feels like bullshit. You're being reborn. I'm being reborn. But it's ultimately for an outstanding cause for you and this world. The owl is like, fuck that. That can't be the answer. It's just that my life is unfair. And all of my gifts are a waste. And the firefly is like, no, fuck that. Your capacity to have manifested everything that you did, go for it and actually win, and then take it as though it's a loss, is a reflection of just how high your standards are, as they should be. but it's going to take you some time to realize that I understand. That's why I'll always be like sparking your creativity and trying to urge that magician energy to come forward and do its thing as it was meant to, as it naturally, effortlessly does. And until you're ready to chase after those flickers of inspiration, I'll keep sending them your way. It's what I do, because it's what you do best. So I reflect that and give you opportunities for it. But the owl has faced one too many disappointments. For sure, life has been quite cruel. Okay. So, who are you in the 3D? How are you balancing these two elements of your identity and being? You are the shadow. How interesting. Oh, these triangles. So right now you're doing a lot of shadow work, and that makes sense. It's like your lower self is even aware that it is in it's responding, like all of your beings are responding to your lower self right now, and it's aware that it has the greatest power between the three of you at this time, only in that it's working on its shadows. That's usually what your lower self represents. So you right now are not engaging very much with the world outside of you, being very social. You are working on your triggers, you're working on your emotions, you're doing a lot of shadow work, and you're doing a beautiful job, because that's a very difficult thing to work on and to discipline yourself to sit through and work on, to sit with your triggers and to go deep into the past and figure out where it all began. Like, this is the work that you're doing right now, so no wonder it feels like the underworld, because it doesn't just represent a nightmarish dystopian hell. It also represents the underneath, the things that have been buried deep beneath in your unconscious, subconscious minds. You're like bringing them to the surface to look at them and shed light on them, so that they're not a problem moving forward, so that they don't catch you off guard ever again. But as you do this, you also see the shadows in everything and everyone around you, and that's been kind of a weird, surreal, like almost creepy experience. You can see other people's pain and their darkness very easily because you're very in touch with your own. Look how the owl's eye is still, no matter how much we cover it up, it's still very watchful. It catches everything and it sees everything. It has the gift and the curse of like very clear sight. That's why it can't ignore the things that are in the shadows. It sees them as clear as day. It refuses to ignore them ever again. So right now you're working a lot on your shadow work, And because you understand that the things you manifest are things that are in alignment with your own vibration, I think that you criticized yourself too much in the past about how the things you manifested didn't work out because they were reflecting a part of you that was unhealed. Like, though that may be true, that's not the only reason. Sometimes when your light is so bright, it does attract shadowy characters or take you to shadowy settings because that's where you're needed. So you're just trying to make sure that you've got yourself in order so that what it is you attract is according to your highest version, without realizing that your highest version is quite a bright, booming light. And you didn't manifest the wrong things toward you before, and if you did that, it's not that it was your fault. I think you don't realize how much you've helped the people and the settings of the past with what you manifested and just being in their presence. I don't think you've realized or reflected or learned about how much you have helped people, and it was your purpose to be there to help them. It wasn't your purpose to be brought down and punished. It was your purpose to be there to help, and you did. But now you're putting all of that help and that work into yourself. So good for you. Little by little, you're learning to trust your own vibration more, the more you realize that actually it's quite a beautiful one. Very harmonic and profound. That's so interesting that your higher self is in the womb, ready to be born through you. Okay, so is there anything that the Firefly would like to say at this point as we close it out? Does the Firefly want to say? The Lovers. The Ten of Burdens. I mean the Ten of Wands, and I said the Ten of Burdens? That's nuts. Okay. Oh, maybe that's all. And then the Four of Wands on the bottom. I think your Firefly, your higher self, is telling you that you're carrying way too many burdens that don't belong to you. A lot of the stuff that you blame yourself for and a lot of the mistrust that you have toward yourself is actually, it's not about you. It's about the people from your past, which you have released so it can't bring you down anymore. But what is triggering you at this time and holding you back is that you are carrying the weight of other people from your past and maybe even today on your shoulders. It's almost like too much responsibility. Some of it is like meant for you to carry and help with, people that you love right now that you want to keep in your life moving forward. You like being able to support them, and that's a burden. They're kind of a heavy burden, yeah, but you accept that. But there are others from your past, and then also things that you felt very connected to that you left behind, but those experiences and the sense of mistrust that they kind of infused you with, you still carry them with you moving forward. This might be about your family, or about somebody or some ones you considered family. But ultimately, there is a resounding message at the same time that says, the second you release these burdens, you will almost immediately manifest the right people toward you. You will manifest the right opportunities and all of the answers you need for the people that you love and yourself in that moment. Those 10 of Wands that you're carrying, you actually are free to let them go now. You've done enough shadow work, it's okay to step out of it now and have faith moving forward. But feel free to stay and keep doing it. You know yourself best. But the Firefly is just letting you know that if you let go of past burdens, if you find a way to just release them, you will be as light and airy as the Firefly, and it would allow you to move in union with your higher self and move toward this perfect happy ending with the people that deserve you, the people that you deserve to be around, that reflect you and your higher self. You're being reborn. You're in a world between worlds, the old one that you used to belong to and the new one that you're heading into. But before you head into it, and you have this awareness, like you feel that you're not like lost and confused, like you are very wise and you understand that. But before you move toward that new world, which is far above and beyond the last one, you want to make sure that you're the right fit for it, that it's the right fit for you, that the same things that brought you down before will never be something that bring you down ever again. You won't repeat cycles and patterns. You set your mind to it. So that's what's going on between your Firefly higher self and your Owl lower self. This is their dialogue. And just as with my last reading, with the other two, it's like you're working very much united with each other for the greater good of you. Now, other than the shadow, who's underneath that? Once that shadow work is complete, who is revealed? Oh, the mother. The heart, the womb, the mother. Wow, that's crazy. I saw that. I also saw that healer card. So you maybe you literally are a mother who's pregnant, giving birth to something that's going to change the world, change your world, whose world you're going to change. But even if not, yeah, you are the creator of a new world. You're doing it yourself. You are a nurturer of sorts. You plant the seeds. You carry so much within you that you give birth to, whether that's children or ideas that really create a ripple effect in this world for everybody. You are like a mother is quite an unfuckwithable being, whether literally a mother or just the energy of a mother. And if you are a man, of course, you also may have mother energy equally as father energy, regardless of having children, right? So you have so much to give and you know it. You just want to make sure that you're in the right place to give it to the right people. And that's where you're headed. Alrighty. I think that'll do. Thank you.